But did you talk to yourself a lot? I mean, when you're young, because like I say, single mother, you're in the projects, your role models, the people you looked up to were not
No.
the greatest role models. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, they're criminals.
But I played basketball very angry in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was angry at my dad. I was angry at Miss Gomez. Miss Gomez was my Spanish teacher, and I flunked Spanish. I did. I flunked Spanish. First of all, I'm trying to figure out, even to this day, 50-some years later, why was I taking Spanish in Alabama? I tell myself that all the time. I joke. But so I flunked Spanish, and I didn't get to graduate. And I stood next door at the baseball stadium on the top rung by myself. And I watched the entire graduation, and I cried unmercifully for like an hour. We only had like a little over 100 people graduate.
Right.
And I was so distraught. And every time I touched the basketball court, I was mad at my dad for not being there. And my dad actually flew across the country to see me graduate. He was not really in my life, but he flew from California to Alabama to see me graduate. And I flunked my Spanish exam. And I didn't graduate. He was furious. And
So you didn't get to walk the stage?
I did not get to walk. But I stood there for 2 hours, like an hour and a half, and just watched everybody graduate. And I cried the whole time. And then I made in my mind that night, I'm going to get all these people back. It wasn't until I got older and realized, you know what? Okay, so actually what happened, remember the incident I had where I spit in New Jersey?
Right. You did not spit on an 8-year-old
No,
girl on purpose.
I did not.
She was not your target.
She was not. Well, nobody was my target. It was just stupidity on my part. But that night, first of all, I got suspended, which I should have got suspended. But I was sitting in a hotel that night, and I said, man, you got to calm down. Because if you play on the edge, it's just a matter of when you're going to go over the edge.
Yeah.
And I sit down, I said, you know what? I forgive my dad. He wasn't there. We grew up poor. It sucked. But I got to play basketball for me. Then secondly, I said, you know what? It's actually my fault I flunked Spanish. It's really not Mrs. Gomez's fault.
Yeah.
I flunked the exam. And from that point on, my whole basketball life changed. I said, I just want to be a great player and have success for myself. But going through high school, in college, I was trying to stick it to everybody. I wasn't mature enough to realize the stuff that happened in my life was my fault. And after the spit incident in New Jersey, I had to sit in that hotel room and say, man, what is wrong with you? And that, to me, that actually was the turning point in my career.
Really?
It was, because I was like, you can't play basketball angry. You play to be successful, and you play for the love. You ain't trying to stick it to people. That's not, because at some point you got to realize you don't be successful to stick it to people. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm successful for me and the people around me. Not to say, yeah, remember when you didn't let me graduate? Yeah, that's for you, Miss Gomez. And then, like I say, you learn this stuff when you get older. I'm like, oh, actually, Miss Gomez, you're not the reason I flunked Spanish. You just took you just was teaching the class.
Yeah.
But that was the turning point for me in life, to be honest with you, because I didn't play anger from that night on.
Really?
I did not.
All right, so you're standing there watching everybody graduate, breaking your heart because you didn't, but you didn't blame yourself then. You blamed her then. How did you get through Spanish? You eventually graduated because you went to Auburn.
Yeah, I went to summer school, but I was, that was traumatic, not marching.
Yeah, not walking that stage.
Yeah, that was traumatic.
Did you think people were making fun of you?
I only thought that because they were. I only thought that they were calling me the big dummy.
Yeah.
Kids are cruel.
Yeah.
You have to, and so, like I say, when I played, I was like trying to get them all back. Like every kid who said, look at this dummy not going to graduate. Yeah. So when I went to summer school, when I went to college, I was like, I'm going to make all these people regret making fun of me. And it was a really, like I say, because you have to grow up and mature. And like I say, I was like, no, man, it wasn't Miss Gomez's fault. And I say, my dad wasn't there. He wasn't there. I got to move on.